before the weight of the world falls on your shoulders, and before your mind begins racing with the demands of another day. There is a sacred moment, one that holds quiet power and divine invitation. This moment is the space between your waking breath and your first step out of bed, where your heart is soft and open, and the voice of God can be heard more clearly. In this space, we are reminded that we are not alone. We are not directionless. We are not left to navigate this life on our own strength. This morning, let your soul return to one of the most cherished promises in all of Scripture, Psalm 23. Not as mere poetry, not as a passage we've heard so often that it fades into background noise, but as living truth, a love letter from your shepherd to your weary soul. The Lord is my shepherd, not was, not might be, not just a distant figure from ancient stories. He is right now, in this very breath, your shepherd, the one who sees you before you speak, the one who knows the burdens you carry, even the ones you've hidden from yourself, the one who walks into your chaos, not to condemn you, but to guide you. Because he is your shepherd, you shall not want. That is not a denial of need, but a declaration of divine sufficiency. He knows what you need even before you ask. When your heart is anxious about the future, when your soul aches with uncertainty, he steps in with provisions, sometimes seen, sometimes unseen, but always perfectly timed. Not a moment too early, not a second too late. He makes you lie down in green pastures. He doesn't simply point to rest from a distance. He makes you lie down. He knows how restless your mind becomes, how your spirit can be consumed by the whirlwind of responsibilities, relationships, and regrets. He calls you to pause, to breathe, to be still. Not in barren land, not in scarcity, but in green pastures, places of abundance, refreshment, and life. He leads you beside still waters, not the rushing flood of worry, not the stormy seas of fear, but calm, still waters. In a world that glorifies noise, speed, and achievement, God invites you to slow down and listen to the rhythm of his voice, to the steady flow of his peace. And when you drink deeply of this water, your soul is restored. He restores your soul, not just refreshes, not just repairs. He restores. He brings back what life has drained from you, the joy you lost in the battle, the clarity that was stolen by confusion, the confidence that was shattered by rejection. He breathes life into your dry bones, and even in the moments when you feel beyond repair, he gently gathers the broken pieces and creates something more whole than you ever imagined. He leads you in paths of righteousness for his name's sake, not to show off your goodness, not to add pressure to perform, but because your life reflects his character. Your walk becomes a witness. And even when you don't understand the path, when it winds through valleys, detours, and dark places, you can trust that his purpose is still unfolding, not for your glory, but for his name. And his name is faithful. Even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil. Not because you're fearless, but because he is with you. His presence is not a distant comfort. It is a tangible strength. His rod and staff, they comfort you. They defend, correct, protect, and direct. And they remind you, you are never abandoned. No shadow is too dark, no valley too deep, no enemy too strong when the shepherd is by your side. There is a sacred security in knowing that God walks beside you into this day. He isn't sending you out alone. He isn't watching from afar. He is Emmanuel, God with us, with you right now. In every conversation you have, in every decision you make, in every fear you carry, This day may hold challenges you didn't plan for, detours you didn't ask for, but you are not unprepared, because your shepherd goes before you. He is behind you. He is beside you. He surrounds you like a shield. Let your soul rest in that truth before you take the first step into today. Let the fear be silenced by His presence. Let the anxiety dissolve in the assurance of His guidance. Let your heart breathe in the peace that comes from knowing that you are fully known, fully seen, and fully loved. As the morning light spills into your room and the world begins to stir, it's easy to feel the pressure mounting to rush, to perform, to keep up. But you are not called to start your day as if everything depends on you. You are called to follow, to wake not with frantic energy, but with surrendered trust, to begin not in panic, but in presence. The shepherd has already gone ahead. He knows what today holds. He has seen every conversation, every choice, every obstacle, and every opportunity. And He's not only aware, He's prepared a way through it all. He doesn't just offer general guidance. He leads with intimate care. He tailors His direction to your exact heart, your unique circumstances, your silent prayers. You don't have to strive to earn His attention. You already have it. You don't need to convince Him to care. He already does. With a love that never sleeps, never shifts, never fades. And that love is not fragile. It's not based on how spiritual you feel today. It's rooted in who He is, unchanging, steadfast, and full of grace. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. What a profound truth. God doesn't remove all opposition before He blesses you. Instead, He shows His favor in the middle of the battle. He prepares a feast for your soul while you're still surrounded, while fear still whispers, while pressure still rises. He sets a table, not in hiding, but in full view of everything that threatens your peace. This isn't a table of crumbs. It's not survival food. It's a rich banquet of His goodness, His wisdom, His presence. And it's yours not because you earned it, but because you belong to Him. While the enemy tries to starve you with doubt, God feeds you with truth. While the world tries to drain your energy, He pours into you abundance. You anoint my head with oil. This isn't just symbolic. In ancient times, the anointing of oil on the head of a sheep was protection, repelling pests, healing wounds, and setting apart. And so it is with you. God anoints you for the day ahead. He marks you with favor. He shields your mind from lies. He heals the places still sore from yesterday's wounds. He empowers you to walk not just as a survivor of life, but as someone called, covered, and chosen. Your cup overflows. That's the rhythm of grace. Not just enough, but more than enough. Not scarcity, but abundance. Not barely making it, but walking with a sense of divine fullness. Even when circumstances feel like lack, your inner life can overflow. Peace in the middle of pressure, joy in the middle of disappointment, confidence in the middle of uncertainty. That's the overflow. God gives not a life free of hardship, but a heart filled with Him. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. These aren't just companions for the good days. They follow you always, in your doubts and your dreams, in your tears and your triumphs. God's goodness doesn't fluctuate with your mood. His mercy doesn't expire at your mistakes. They chase after you relentlessly. When you run away, they follow. When you fall behind, they catch up. When you forget your worth, they gently remind you who you are. You are not being followed by fear. You are not being stalked by shame. You are being pursued by the very goodness of God, and not just on special occasions. All the days of your life, ordinary days, hard days, boring days, miraculous days, His presence is not seasonal, it is permanent. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Not just visit, not just stop by on Sunday. Dwell, abide, live. This is your true home, not the structure you live in, not the opinions of others, not the shifting seasons of success or struggle, but in the unshakable presence of the Lord. He is your dwelling place, the place where you are known, loved, and safe. This is not a distant hope for heaven someday. This is a daily reality. You get to wake up each morning and live in the presence of the one who holds eternity in His hands. You are already home when you are with Him, and that changes everything about how you move through the day. So before you answer messages, before you carry tasks, before you face the noise of the world, remind your soul, I have a shepherd. I have a guide. I have provision. I have protection. I have peace. I am not alone. I am not empty. I am not forgotten. My soul is held, led, restored, and pursued. And because of that, I can walk into today not with fear, but with faith. Not with striving, but with surrender. Not with heaviness, but with hope. Sometimes, the hardest part of the day is not the task itself, but the uncertainty of how it will unfold. We wonder if we will have the strength, if we'll say the right thing, if we'll be able to hold on when everything around us feels unstable. But when Psalm 23 becomes more than just words, when it becomes the lens through which you see your day, everything begins to shift. You no longer approach life as someone left to figure things out on your own. You approach it as someone shepherded, sustained, and seen. You remember that the one who formed the mountains also formed your heart, that the same God who parts seas is the one who walks beside you when the road is quiet, unremarkable, or painful. You are not defined by your worries, your weaknesses, or the wounds you still carry. You are defined by your shepherd's voice, and that voice is always calling, not with condemnation, but with compassion. He invites you to come close, to walk with Him, to trust that even when the path is unclear, His presence is unchanging. When you pause and anchor yourself in that truth each morning, your soul learns to breathe again. You stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You stop comparing your life to others. You stop expecting perfection from yourself, and instead, you start leaning on the perfection of Christ. Your steps slow down. Your eyes begin to see again not just what is urgent, but what is eternal. You begin to notice the beauty in small things, the sunrise breaking through your window, the quiet kindness of a stranger, the moment of stillness in between two demands. You realize that God isn't waiting for you at the finish line. He is walking with you now, in the kitchen, on your commute, at your desk, in your silence, in your stress. His presence is not reserved for the spiritual elite. It's a gift for every surrendered heart. And when you feel weak today, which you might remember, this: the shepherd does not need your strength. He only asks for your trust. He is the one who carries you when your knees buckle. He is the one who fights for you when you feel defenseless. He is the one who sings over you while you sleep and walks before you while you wake. Let this morning be more than routine. Let it be a reset, a realignment, a returning of your soul to the one who never left you. Lay down the pressure to have it all figured out. Lay down the mask that says I'm fine when you're not. Lay down the burden of doing everything in your own strength. Instead, lift up your heart, even if it's bruised, even if it's questioning, even if it's unsure, because the shepherd is already near, and he knows exactly how to meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be. He doesn't require perfection. He delights in honesty. And when you come to him just as you are, you find what your soul has been craving all along: peace, belonging, and the kind of strength that doesn't depend on your ability to hold it all together. Let his goodness and mercy set the rhythm of your day. Let his voice be louder than the noise. Let his peace guard your thoughts. Let his promises carry you forward, not because you feel ready, but because he is already ahead of you. And if this prayer has reminded you of his presence, if it has brought a moment of peace to your morning, then let your next step be one of faith. Take a breath, whisper a prayer, and walk forward, not alone, but with the shepherd at your side. And if your heart feels stirred and you sense this message could bless someone else, let it move through you. Share it. Let someone else know that they, too, are not walking through life alone. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give is the reminder of God's newness.